By reading and going back to re-examine the text, let's look at how the geographic opportunities and obstacles shaped the golden age of Greece. What observations can you make about the geography of Greece? That it has an irregular coastline? That it's entirely surrounded by water? That there are many islands? How do you think these geographical features could have affected the people of Greece? How did they travel from island to island? Let's read from The Aegean Adaptability, Geography and the Ancient Greeks by Cheryl Wiens. At the same time that the Shang dynasty was ruling much of the Huanghe River Valley and the Egyptian pharaohs were building the new kingdom along the Nile, another civilization was beginning, along the northeastern shores of the Mediterranean Sea. The civilization was that of the ancient Greeks. In Greece, there was no great river carrying layers of fertile silt to create rich farmland. Instead of finding themselves in an environment provided by a river valley, ancient Greeks found themselves on a peninsula, a piece of land almost entirely surrounded by the sea, with a rocky landscape that offered few natural resources. You might want to pause here and think, what is a peninsula? A peninsula is a landform surrounded by water on most of its border while being connected to a mainland from which it extends. Ancient Greece was located on the southern European mainland. The modern day country of Greece includes not only the mainland portion, but also hundreds of islands. The biggest of these islands is Crete, south of the mainland. Northeast of Crete is another large island called Rhodes. Mountains and hills cover nearly three-fourths of Greece. Western Greece is the most mountainous, and travel by land is very difficult. The land is not very fertile either, but farmers herd goats and sheep on the rugged hillsides. What challenges did the Greeks face in regards to their geography? We can go back to our reading and take a look at this section. Then add to our notes. Western Greece is mountainous. Travel by land is very difficult. The land is not very fertile. Back to our reading. Eastern Greece has land that is more suitable for farming. Some of these farmlands are on the peninsula of Attica. Attica also has excellent natural harbors or sheltered places for ships. Peloponnesus, a large peninsula southwest of Attica, is a mountainous region outlined by a thin area of fertile soil. Here can be found several rivers, but unlike those in Egypt or Mesopotamia, these rivers dry up in the summer. The climate of Greece also presented a challenge for early farmers. Summers were hot and dry, and winters were wet and windy. Ancient Greeks raised crops and animals well suited to the environment. Wheat and barley were grown, and olives and grapes were harvested. The many hills and mountains provided shrubs to feed the herds of sheep, goats, and cattle. What other challenges did the Greeks face in regards to their geography? If we go back to our reading, we can look at this section. Then add to our notes, the rivers in Attica dried up in the summer. Because farming didn't produce huge surpluses and travel across the terrain was difficult, the Greeks came to depend on the sea. People living near the Mediterranean, Aegean, and Ionian seas became fishermen, sailors, and merchants. Because of Greece's location in the eastern Mediterranean, it was a perfect location for trade. Greek sailors were highly skilled and traveled as far as ancient Egypt to trade their products. Greek merchants competed with traders from other Mediterranean cultures. One of the cultures was the Phoenicians. Traders from all over were eager to exchange their goods for Greece's olive oil, wool, and wine. Those who traded with the Greeks specially prized their olive oil. It added flavor to food, along with its usefulness as a lamp fuel and body lotion. According to the text, how did the Greeks deal with the challenges of Greece's geography? If we look at these sections, we can add to our notes. They learned to depend on the sea. They became fishermen, sailors, and merchants. They became skilled sailors that traveled far to trade their goods. Going back to reread portions of the article may uncover even more ways in which the Greeks learned to overcome the challenges of Greece's geography. Why not go back and see what you can uncover?